Welcome to the Mythic Lorebound. I'm so glad you're here. Maybe it's been a long day. Maybe your mind has been spinning with thoughts that won't settle. Or maybe you just needed a place to rest where the weight of the world feels a little lighter. Either way, tonight's journey is for you. There's nothing you need to do now. Nothing to solve, nothing to remember, nothing to hold on to. Just let your body sink into the softness beneath you. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the day you've been carrying begin to fade, like smoke dissolving into evening air. Tonight, we're traveling somewhere ancient, somewhere at the very edge of the world, where the sun never quite sets and the sky is held up by hands older than memory. We're going to the garden of the Hesperides, where golden apples glow in eternal twilight, and beyond it to the pillar where Atlas stands, holding the heavens on his shoulders. This is not a story that rushes. It moves slowly, like the turning of the stars, like the breath of the earth itself. And if somewhere along the way your thoughts begin to drift, if your awareness softens and your eyelids grow heavy, that's exactly where you're meant to be. So settle in. Let the world outside this moment fade. And when you're ready, we'll begin. Part 1. The golden hour. The air here tastes different. That's the first thing you notice as you step into the garden. Not the light, though that will come soon enough. Not the trees or the distant sound of something vast and slow breathing in the shadows. No, it's the air itself that touches you first. It's sweet. Not cloying, not heavy, but soft and honeyed, like the scent of flowers that bloom only once in a lifetime, carried on a breeze that has traveled across an ocean you'll never see. There's something else beneath it too. Something mineral and cool, like the smell of rain on stone, or the inside of a cave where water has been dripping for 1,000 years. You breathe it in slowly, and it fills your lungs with a kind of calm you didn't know you were missing. The air here doesn't rush. It doesn't press. It simply exists, and in existing, it invites you to do the same. Let yourself stand here for a moment. Let yourself feel the ground beneath your feet. It's soft, this ground. Not mud, not grass, exactly. But something in between. A carpet of moss and clover and tiny flowers you can't quite name, each one no bigger than the tip of your smallest finger. When you shift your weight, the earth gives just slightly, like it's welcoming you, like it's been waiting. And then slowly, you begin to notice the light. It doesn't come from above. Not exactly. It comes from everywhere and nowhere all at once. A golden glow that seems to rise from the trees themselves, from the leaves, from the very air around you. It's the light of late afternoon, the light of the hour just before sunset, when the sun hangs low and everything it touches turns warm and soft and amber. But here, in this garden, that hour never ends. The sun doesn't move. It doesn't sink below the horizon. It simply rests there, suspended in a sky that shifts between shades of apricot and rose and the palest, most delicate gold. The clouds, if you can call them clouds, are long and thin, stretched across the heavens like brushstrokes of cream and fire, and they glow from within as if lit by some gentle secret flame. This is the golden hour, the eternal twilight, and you have stepped into it. You begin to walk, though there's no hurry. There's no destination calling you, no voice urging you forward. You walk simply because the garden invites it, because the path beneath your feet curves gently through the trees, and something in you wants to follow it. The trees are unlike any you've seen before. They're tall, but not imposing. Their trunks are smooth and pale, almost white, like birch trees carved from marble, and they rise from the earth in slow, graceful curves. The bark catches the light and seems to shimmer faintly, as if each tree is wrapped in a skin of pearl and moonlight. But it's the leaves that hold you. Each leaf is broad and slightly waxy, shaped like a teardrop or a flame. and every single one glows with a soft internal light. They're not green. Not quite. They're gold. True gold, the color of sunlight on honey, the color of treasure buried deep in the earth and brought up into the air to breathe. And as the breeze moves through the branches, so gently you almost don't feel it, the leaves tremble and shift, and the light they carry ripples across them like water over stones. You stop beneath one of the trees and look up. The branches spread wide above you, a canopy of shimmering gold, and through the gaps between the leaves, you can see the sky, still glowing with that soft, endless twilight. The leaves closest to you sway slightly, and as they do, they make the faintest sound. Not a rustle exactly, something softer, a whisper, a breath, the sound of silk brushing against silk, or the wings of a moth passing through the dark. You reach up slowly, and your fingers brush the edge of one leaf. It's cool to the touch, smoother than you expected, and for a moment, you swear you can feel a pulse running through it, a heartbeat, slow and steady and ancient, like the tree itself is alive in a way you've never understood life to be. And then you see them. The apples. They hang from the branches like ornaments, like small suns caught in the web of the tree. Each one is perfectly round, perfectly smooth, and they glow with a light that makes the leaves around them seem dim by comparison. They're not just gold. They're made of gold, or something so close to it that the difference doesn't matter. Their skins gleam, polished and flawless, reflecting the light of the sky and the garden and each other in 1,000 shifting facets. You step closer to one, drawn by something you can't name. It hangs just within reach, and as you approach, you notice the details. The skin of the apple is not perfectly uniform. There are tiny variations in the color, subtle shifts from deep amber to pale citrine, and when the light hits it just right, you can see faint lines running across its surface, delicate as veins, like the apple is breathing, like it's alive. And perhaps it is. You don't touch it. Not yet. You just stand there, looking, letting your eyes trace the curve of it. The way it hangs so perfectly still despite the breeze. The way the stem that connects it to the branch seems almost too delicate to hold something so luminous, so impossibly beautiful. How long has this apple been here? How many years has it hung from this branch, glowing in the eternal twilight, untouched and perfect? You don't know. But standing here, beneath the golden canopy, breathing the honeyed air, you feel time begin to soften. Minutes stretch, seconds blur. The world outside the garden, the world of clocks and schedules and hurry, feels impossibly far away. Here, there is only the light, the leaves, the apples, and the deep, slow rhythm of the earth beneath your feet. You continue walking, your steps slow and dreamlike, and the path takes you deeper into the garden. The trees grow closer together here, their branches intertwining overhead to form a tunnel of gold and shadow. The light is dimmer now, but no less beautiful. It filters through the leaves in soft, dappled patterns, pooling on the ground in circles and crescents. And as you walk through them, you feel their warmth on your skin, gentle and fleeting, like the touch of a hand that lingers for only a moment before pulling away. The path itself is winding, meandering, as if it was made not by design, but by the footsteps of those who walked it long ago, over and over, until the earth remembered the shape of their passage. There are small stones embedded in the moss, smooth and round, worn down by centuries of rain and wind, and the soft pressure of bare feet. You step carefully, not out of fear, but out of reverence, as if each step is a kind of conversation with the ground itself. And then you hear it, a sound, low and rhythmic, a breathing, but not the breathing of wind through branches or the sigh of distant waves. This is deeper, slower, the kind of breathing that comes from something vast and alive and patient beyond measure. You stop walking and listen. The sound is coming from somewhere ahead, somewhere beyond the next curve of the path, and it fills the air with a presence you can't quite name. It's not threatening, it's not ominous, but it is there, undeniable and immense, and it makes you aware suddenly that you are not alone in this garden. You've never been alone here. The path opens up, and you step into a clearing. It's larger than you expected, a wide circle of soft grass and moss, ringed by the golden trees. In the center of the clearing, there is a pool, still and dark and perfectly round, like a mirror laid flat upon the earth. The water, if it is water, doesn't ripple. It doesn't move. It simply rests there, reflecting the sky above in perfect, glassy detail, so that looking at it feels like looking through a window into another world. But it's not the pool that holds your attention. It's the tree that rises beside it. This tree is different from the others. It's larger, older, with a trunk so wide you couldn't wrap your arms around it even if you tried. The bark is darker here, not white but silver gray, and it's carved with deep grooves and ridges that spiral up toward the branches like the whorls of a fingerprint. The branches themselves spread out in every direction, thick and gnarled and heavy with fruit, and the apples that hang from them glow brighter than any you've seen so far, as if this tree is the heart of the garden, the source of all its light. And coiled around the base of the trunk, sleeping in the shadows, is the dragon, Ladon. His name rises in your mind, unbidden, as if the garden itself whispered it to you. Ladon, the serpent, the guardian, the keeper of the golden apples. He lies there, vast and still, his body wrapped around the tree in loose, lazy coils, each one as thick as a fallen log, each one covered in scales that shimmer in the twilight like chips of obsidian and jade. His breathing is the sound you heard before, deep and slow, each inhale drawing in the honeyed air, each exhale releasing it in a long, warm sigh that you can feel from where you stand, a gentle wave of heat that brushes against your skin and fades. You should be afraid. Any reasonable part of you knows this. A dragon, even a sleeping one, is not a thing to be taken lightly. But standing here, watching him breathe, watching the rise and fall of his massive ribs beneath the scales, you feel no fear, only a strange, quiet awe. He is beautiful. You step closer, moving slowly, carefully, your bare feet making no sound on the moss. The dragon doesn't stir. His eyes are closed, heavy lids resting over eyes you cannot see, and his head rests on one of his own coils, massive and reptilian, with a long snout and nostrils that flare slightly with each breath. His scales catch the light as he breathes, and you realize that each one is different. Some are smooth and dark, almost black, like polished stones pulled from a riverbed. Others are lighter, tinged with green or gold, and they seem to glow faintly, as if they've absorbed the light of the apples above and are holding it inside themselves, radiating it back out into the world. You crouch down, not too close, but close enough to see the details. Close enough to see the way the scales overlap, each one fitting perfectly against the next, like tiles in a mosaic. Close enough to see the tiny scratches and scars, faint white lines that tell the story of a life lived long and slow and full of stillness. How old is he? You wonder. How many centuries has he lain here, coiled around this tree, breathing in the twilight, guarding the apples that never fall? You don't know, but you feel the weight of it, the age, the patience, the deep and endless rhythm of his existence. He is not cruel. He is not fierce. He is simply here, doing what he was made to do, what he has always done, what he will always do, for as long as the garden stands. You sit down on the moss, a few feet away from the nearest coil, and you let yourself rest there. The air is warm from the dragon's breath, and the ground is soft beneath you, and the light from the tree above filters down through the golden leaves, painting everything in shades of amber and honey. For a long time, you simply sit. You don't think. You don't plan. You don't wonder what comes next. You just exist, in this moment, in this garden, in the presence of something ancient and patient and impossibly gentle. The dragon's breathing becomes your breathing. Slow in, slow out. The rhythm of it pulls you deeper, like a tide pulling you gently away from the shore. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your thoughts begin to blur. The light, the leaves, the soft hum of the garden all begin to fade into a kind of warm, golden haze. And somewhere, far away, you hear the faintest sound, a turning, a creaking, the slow, deep groan of something impossibly vast, shifting its weight. The sky itself, you realize, is moving. And holding it, somewhere beyond this garden, beyond the edge of the world, is Atlas. Part 2. You rise slowly from the moss, though you're not entirely sure when you decided to stand. The movement feels less like a choice and more like a gentle inevitability, as if the garden itself has decided it's time for you to move forward, and your body is simply following a path that was laid out long before you arrived. The dragon doesn't stir. Ladon's breathing continues, deep and rhythmic, a metronome of ancient patience. And as you take your first step away from the tree, you glance back once. The golden apples still glow in the branches above him. The pool still reflects the endless twilight, and the dragon still sleeps, coiled in his eternal vigil, dreaming whatever dreams a guardian dreams. You turn and continue walking. The path has changed. It's no longer soft moss and tiny flowers. The ground beneath your feet has become something else, something harder. Stone, you realize, but not the rough, broken stone of a mountain trail. This is smooth, polished. Each stone is broad and flat, fitted perfectly against the next with no mortar, no gaps, just the seamless joining of one piece to another, as if the path was carved from a single massive slab and then gently encouraged to break along invisible lines. The stones are warm beneath your feet, not hot, but sun-warmed, holding the heat of the eternal golden hour in their surface. You can feel it seeping up through your soles, a gentle, constant warmth that spreads through your body with each step. The trees are thinning now. You're leaving the heart of the garden behind, moving toward its edge, and as the canopy opens up above you, more of the sky becomes visible. That impossible sky, painted in shades of rose and amber and the palest gold, with long, thin clouds stretched across it like ribbons of cream. The light is brighter here, less filtered, and it falls across your skin in broad, warm strokes. You walk for what might be minutes or might be hours. Time has lost its meaning here, dissolved into the rhythm of your footsteps and the slow, steady pulse of the earth beneath the stone. The path rises gently, so gradually that you barely notice the incline, but with each step, you feel yourself climbing, not toward something, just up, toward the sky itself. And then the trees end completely. You step out onto a plateau, and the world opens up before you. The garden is behind you now, a sea of golden light and shimmering leaves that stretches back as far as you can see, gentle and glowing and impossibly beautiful. But ahead of you, the landscape changes entirely. The stone path continues forward, but it no longer meanders. It runs straight and true, cutting across a vast expanse of smooth rock that gleams like polished marble in the twilight. The rock is pale, almost white, with faint veins of gold and silver running through it like rivers frozen in stone. It's not flat, exactly. The surface undulates gently, rising and falling in long, slow waves, as if the earth here is breathing, as if the stone itself is alive. There are no trees here, no grass, no flowers, no moss, just the stone, endless and smooth and luminous, stretching out toward the horizon. And there, in the distance, rising from the stone like a pillar holding up the heavens themselves, is Atlas. You can't see him clearly. Not yet. The distance is too great, and the light plays tricks, bending and shifting around his form. But you can see the outline, the silhouette, a figure so vast that your mind struggles to comprehend the scale of it. He stands upright, impossibly tall, his feet planted on the stone, his back straight, his arms raised above his head, and resting on his shoulders, pressing down with a weight you cannot imagine, is the sky. Not a piece of the sky, not a representation. The actual sky, the vault of heaven itself, with all its stars and clouds and infinite depth, balanced on the shoulders of a single being who has stood there, unmoving, for longer than memory can reach. You stare at the distant figure, and something in your chest tightens. Not fear, not awe, though there is awe here, certainly. Something else, something closer to recognition. As if some part of you has always known that this place existed, that this being existed, and that one day you would stand here, looking at him across the endless stone. You begin to walk toward him. The journey across the plateau is slow, achingly slow. Each step brings you closer, but the distance seems to stretch with every footfall, as if the space between you and Atlas is not measured in miles, but in something else. Intention, perhaps, or readiness. The stone beneath your feet is perfectly smooth, worn down by wind and time, and the passage of feet that came before yours, though you see no other footprints, no other signs of life. Just the pale, gleaming rock, reflecting the golden light of the sky. As you walk, you begin to notice details. The air is changing again. It's still warm, still honeyed with that faint sweetness from the garden, but there's something else now. A pressure. Subtle at first, like the feeling before a storm, when the atmosphere grows heavy and the world holds its breath. This isn't threatening. It's presence. The presence of something unimaginably vast. Something that bends the very fabric of the world around it simply by existing. You can feel it in your bones, in the space between your heartbeats. A weight that isn't yours, but that you're aware of nonetheless, the way you might be aware of the ocean when you stand on a beach, even if you're not looking at the water. The light is changing too. The golden twilight is still there, still painting everything in warm, soft tones, but there's something else mixed in now. A silvery quality, cool and clear, like starlight. You look up, and for the first time since entering the garden, you see them. The stars. They're faint, barely visible against the glowing sky, but they're there. Tiny points of light, scattered across the vault of heaven like seeds thrown by an invisible hand. They don't twinkle. They don't flicker. They simply exist, steady and eternal. Each one a distant sun, each one a world unto itself. And they're moving, so slowly that you almost don't notice it at first. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. The stars are turning. The entire sky is rotating. A vast celestial sphere moving around some invisible axis, and the motion is so slow, so gentle, that it feels less like movement and more like breathing. The breath of the cosmos itself, inhaling and exhaling across ions. You stop walking and stare upward, mesmerized. The stars trace long, lazy arcs across the sky, and as they move, you begin to hear something. A sound so low, so deep, that it's less a sound and more a vibration. It rises from the stone beneath your feet, resonates in your chest, fills the air around you with a presence that has no name. It's the sound of the spheres, the ancient music of the heavens, the harmony created by the movement of celestial bodies through space, each one singing its own note, each one contributing to a chord so vast and complex that no human mind could ever fully comprehend it. But you can feel it. Oh, you can feel it. It's in your bones, your blood, your breath. A deep, resonant hum, that seems to come from everywhere and nowhere. A frequency that has been playing since the beginning of time and will continue long after the end. You close your eyes and let it wash over you. The sound has texture, layers. There's the deep bass rumble that you feel more than hear, like the vibration of a massive bell struck once and left to resonate forever. Above that, there are midtones, shifting and sliding, harmonics that weave in and out of each other like voices in a choir. And above that, so high and clear that they're almost beyond hearing, are the bright, crystalline notes of the smallest stars, the distant lights that sing at the very edge of perception. It's beautiful, impossibly, overwhelmingly beautiful, and it never stops. It never pauses. It simply is, has always been, will always be. And holding it all, keeping the spheres in motion, maintaining the perfect balance that allows this music to exist, is Atlas. You open your eyes and continue walking. He's closer now, much closer. Close enough that you can begin to make out details beyond the silhouette. His form is still vast, still incomprehensibly large, but as you approach, your mind begins to adjust, to find reference points, to understand the scale of what you're seeing. Atlas is not made of flesh, not in the way you understand flesh. His body is something else, something between stone and muscle, between earth and God. His skin, if you can call it skin, has the texture of weathered granite, pale gray shot through with veins of gold and silver, like the stone of the plateau itself. But it moves, it breathes, it's alive in a way that stone should not be alive. His legs are like columns, massive pillars rising from the stone, rooted so deeply that you cannot tell where his feet end and the earth begins. They're not separate. He is the earth. Or perhaps the earth is him. The distinction doesn't matter. He stands, and in standing, he is as much a part of the landscape as the mountains, as the valleys, as the bones of the world itself. His torso is broad and powerful, carved with the definition of muscles that have held impossible weight for impossible lengths of time. You can see each ridge, each curve, the way the light catches on the planes of his chest and shoulders, casting shadows in the hollows between. His arms are raised, bent at the elbows, hands spread wide, and his palms are pressed flat against the underside of the sky. And his face. You're close enough now to see his face, and the sight of it stops you in your tracks. He's beautiful, not in the way of youth or perfection, or the fleeting beauty of mortal things. This is the beauty of endurance, of patience, of something that has witnessed the birth and death of stars and remained unchanged, unmoved, unbroken. His features are strong and angular, carved from the same living stone as the rest of him. High cheekbones, a straight nose, a broad forehead. His eyes are closed, heavy lids resting over eyes you cannot see, and his expression is peaceful. Not happy, not sad, but serene in a way that suggests he has long ago moved beyond such simple emotions. His hair, and it is hair, despite everything else, flows down his back in long, heavy locks, the color of tarnished silver and iron. It doesn't move in the wind, because there is no wind here at the edge of the world. It simply hangs as still and patient as the rest of him, a cascade of metal and stone, and something that might once have been soft. You stand before him, tiny and mortal and impossibly small, and you look up at his face, at the closed eyes, at the peaceful expression, and you understand something that you didn't before. He is not suffering. The weight he carries is unimaginable. The vault of heaven presses down on his shoulders with the combined mass of every star, every planet, every wisp of nebula and ribbon of cosmic dust. It should crush him. It should break him. And yet he stands, calm and patient and still. And there is no strain in his face, no agony in his posture. Because this is not a punishment. Not anymore. If it ever was. This is his purpose, his meaning, the thing he was made for, the thing he has chosen to continue doing, day after day, eon after eon. He is the pillar, the axis, the still point around which the heavens turn. Without him, the sky would fall, the stars would scatter, the music of the spheres would end, and the world would collapse into chaos. But he stands, and because he stands, the world continues. You feel tears on your cheeks, though you don't remember starting to cry. They're not tears of sadness, they're tears of something else. Recognition, perhaps. Gratitude. The overwhelming realization that someone, somewhere, is holding things together. Even when you cannot see them, even when you forget they're there. Atlas stands, and the sky does not fall. You move closer still, drawn by something you cannot name, until you're standing at his feet. At the base of the great pillars of his legs, where stone becomes flesh, becomes earth. The surface here is rough, textured with the same veins of gold and silver that run through the plateau, and you reach out slowly, hesitantly, and place your palm against it. It's warm. Not hot, but warm, like sun-warmed rock, like the stone of the path you walked to get here. And beneath your palm, you feel something else. A pulse. Slow and deep and steady. The heartbeat of a being who measures time, not in seconds or minutes, but in ages. Each beat is like the tide, vast and patient and inevitable, and you feel it resonate up your arm, into your chest, until your own heart begins to slow, begins to match its rhythm. Thump, teddy, pause, thump, dead, pause. You close your eyes and let yourself rest against him, your forehead pressed to the warm stone of his leg, your breath slowing, your thoughts quieting. The music of the spheres continues above you, the deep cosmic hum filling the air, and beneath it, beneath everything, is the steady, patient heartbeat of the one who holds the sky. How long do you stand there? You don't know. Time has ceased to have meaning in any way you recognize. But when you finally open your eyes and step back, you feel different. Lighter, somehow, even though you've taken on no weight. As if some burden you didn't know you were carrying has been set down, gently and without ceremony. Left at the feet of the one whose entire existence is about carrying things. You look up at Atlas's face again, at the closed eyes, at the peaceful expression, and you wonder what he sees behind those lids. Does he dream? And if he does, what does a being like this dream of? Does he dream of the time before? Before the weight, before the sky, before the eternal standing? Does he remember what it was like to move freely, to walk, to run, to lie down and rest? Or does he dream of the sky itself, of the stars he holds, the planets that orbit in the darkness above him, the vast cosmic machinery that turns and turns and turns because he keeps it turning? Or perhaps he doesn't dream at all. Perhaps he simply is, existing in a state of pure, eternal presence, aware of everything and nothing, the weight on his shoulders and the stone beneath his feet, and the music of the spheres, and the slow, patient turning of the ages. You realize standing there that you will never know, and that's okay. Some mysteries aren't meant to be solved. Some questions aren't meant to be answered. They're meant to be held, gently, in the same way Atlas holds the sky. The path continues past him. You hadn't noticed it before, but now you see it, a continuation of the smooth stone running between his feet and stretching beyond, toward the edge of the plateau, toward the edge of the world itself. You glance up at Atlas one last time, at the serene face, at the strong shoulders bearing their infinite burden, and you feel a swell of something in your chest. Not goodbye exactly. This doesn't feel like an ending. More like a transition, a passing from one state to another. You step forward, moving between his feet, and as you do, you feel the air change one final time. The pressure intensifies, just for a moment, as if the weight of the sky is passing over you, and then it releases, and you're through, on the other side, standing on the stone path that leads beyond. You don't look back. You don't need to. Atlas will be there, standing, holding, existing in his patient eternity, whether you see him or not. That's what he does. That's what he is. And now, ahead of you, the path slopes downward, gently at first, then more steeply, leading away from the plateau, away from the pillar, towards something else, toward the stars themselves. The stone beneath your feet begins to change as you descend. It's still smooth, still warm, but it's becoming transparent. At first, it's just a subtle shift, a slight glassiness to the surface, but with each step, it grows more pronounced. You can see through the stone now, down into depths that shouldn't exist. Below the path, there is not earth, not rock, but space. Vast, dark, infinite space, with stars scattered through it like dust. You stop walking and look down. The stone is completely clear now, like walking on a bridge made of crystal, and beneath it, the cosmos stretches out in all directions. You can see nebulae, vast clouds of gas and dust, glowing in shades of pink and blue and violet. You can see spiral galaxies, slowly turning, their arms spread wide like flowers opening in slow motion. You can see star clusters, dense knots of light, where hundreds of thousands of suns burn together in the darkness. It's dizzying. Vertigo tugs at the edges of your awareness. But it's not frightening. Not really. Because the stone beneath your feet is solid, even if you can see through it, and each step you take is sure and steady. You're walking between worlds now, between the earth and the sky, between the mortal and the infinite, and the path is taking you deeper. The air is thinning. You notice it gradually, the way the honeyed sweetness fades, the way each breath comes a little easier, a little clearer. The atmosphere here is different, purer, less like air and more like nothing. Not empty nothing, but nothing that is somehow full. The void itself, pressing in gently from all sides, not crushing but holding, like water holds a swimmer. The light is changing too. The golden twilight is fading behind you, and ahead the darkness grows. But it's not a dark darkness. It's the darkness of space, velvet and deep, and scattered with stars that grow brighter and more numerous with every step you take. You're entering the celestial realm, the place between the earth and the heavens, the place where Atlas stands and holds, and where the stars are not distant lights but close companions, near enough to touch if you only reach out your hand. And so you do. You stop walking and extend your arm, reaching toward the nearest star. It's a small one, a modest point of white light hanging in the darkness, just beyond the edge of the path. As your fingers approach, you feel warmth radiating from it, gentle and steady, like the warmth of a candle flame held at a safe distance. Your fingertips brush against it, and the star shivers. Not violently, but delicately, like a drop of water disturbed by a breath. Ripples of light spread across its surface, and for a moment, you see it not as a point, but as a sphere, a tiny perfect ball of burning gas, suspended in the void by nothing but its own gravity and the ancient laws that govern such things. It's warm, so warm, and beneath the warmth, you feel the vibration again, the same deep hum you heard before, but clearer now, more immediate. This star is singing. This single, small star, one among billions, is contributing its own note to the great cosmic symphony. And as your fingers rest against its surface, you can feel the music flowing through you. It's overwhelming. It's beautiful. It fills you so completely that there's no room for anything else. No thoughts, no worries, no sense of self. Just the music, the warmth, the gentle pulse of light against your skin. You lower your hand slowly, reverently, and the star settles back into stillness, its light steady once more. You continue walking, and the stars grow closer, more numerous. They're all around you now, above and below, and on every side, and the crystal path winds between them like a thread through a tapestry. Some stars are white, bright, and hot, and young. Others are red, cooler, older, their light soft and patient. A few are blue, blazing with fierce intensity, and when you pass near them, you can feel their heat, sharp and clean, and almost painful in its purity. Each one is different. Each one is perfect. And each one is singing. The music is louder here, or perhaps you're simply more attuned to it. You can hear individual voices now, picking them out from the great chord. That deep red star has a low, mellow tone, like the lowest string of a cello. This bright white one sings high and clear, like a flute, and that cluster of small yellow stars harmonizes with itself, creating a chord within a chord, a miniature chorus hanging in the darkness. You stop trying to walk and simply let yourself drift. The path is beneath you, but you're not sure you're touching it anymore. You might be floating, suspended in the void, held up by nothing but the music itself, the vibration of the stars resonating through the empty space and keeping you aloft. It should be impossible. It should terrify you, but it doesn't, because here, in this place between earth and heaven, between Atlas's shoulders and the infinite expanse beyond, the normal rules don't apply. Here you're safe, held high, carried by forces so much vaster than yourself that surrendering to them is the only thing that makes sense. You close your eyes and let yourself be. The music washes over you in waves, each one carrying you a little farther from the world you knew, a little deeper into the cosmic ocean. You can feel yourself dissolving, not in a frightening way, but in the way sugar dissolves in water, becoming part something larger, something that was always there, always waiting for you to join it. Your thoughts slow. The constant chatter of your mind, the endless loop of worries and plans and memories, begins to quiet. The silence between thoughts grows longer, deeper, until there are no thoughts at all, just awareness. Pure, simple, peaceful awareness. You're aware of the stars. You're aware of the music. You're aware of the vast, patient presence of Atlas somewhere behind you, still standing, still holding, still keeping the sky from falling. And you are aware of your own breathing, slow and deep and rhythmic, matching the pulse of the cosmos itself. In Tai Chi. Pause. On. Out. Pause. How long you drift like this, you cannot say. Time has become meaningless, a concept that belongs to the world below, to the place of schedules and clocks and the relentless forward march of seconds. Here, there is no time. There is only now, eternal and infinite, stretching out in all directions like the stars themselves. You might drift like this forever, and that would be okay. But slowly, gently, something begins to change. The music starts to soften, not fading but receding, like a tide pulling back from the shore. The stars, still beautiful, still singing, begin to dim slightly, their light growing distant and dreamlike. You're not leaving them. They're not leaving you. But the boundaries between you and them are growing softer, blurrier, until you're not sure where the stars end and you begin. And in that softness, in that blurring, you feel a presence. Not Atlas this time. Something smaller, closer, more intimate. It's sleep. Sleep approaches like a gentle friend, patient and unhurried, waiting for you to notice it, waiting for you to be ready. It doesn't force itself upon you. It simply extends a hand, an invitation, a quiet suggestion that maybe, just maybe, it's time to rest. You don't resist. There's nothing to resist. This entire journey, from the golden garden to the dragon to the pillar to the stars, has been leading here to this soft dissolving into rest. The music of the spheres becomes a lullaby, deep and slow and infinitely comforting. The stars become distant candles, their light gentle on your closed eyelids. And Atlas, faithful Atlas, continues to stand somewhere in the vast distance, holding the sky, keeping the world safe, so that you can let go, so that you can drift, so that you can finally sleep. Your breathing slows even further. Your body, wherever it is, whatever position it's in, becomes impossibly heavy and impossibly light at the same time. You're sinking into something soft, something that catches you and cradles you, and the last thing you're aware of before awareness itself begins to fade is the gentle, patient rhythm of the cosmos. Thump, tie, pause, thump, and pause. And then even that fades, dissolving into the warm, dark, infinite ocean of sleep, and you let yourself go completely, trusting in the hands that hold the sky, trusting in the stars that sing, trusting in the ancient, patient magic of the universe that has been waiting, so patiently waiting, for you to rest. Part 3, The Eternal Drifter, is a place beyond sleep where consciousness goes when it's ready to let go completely. It's not dreams. Dreams are too active, too full of story and symbol, and the mind's restless attempt to process the day. This place is deeper than dreams, quieter. It's the space between breaths, stretched out into infinity. It's the moment before a wave breaks, held forever in perfect suspension. You're there now. Or perhaps you've always been there, and you're only now becoming aware of it. Awareness itself has become something different here, something softer and more diffuse, like light filtering through deep water. You're not thinking, you're not observing, you're simply present, in the way a stone is present at the bottom of a river, worn smooth by the endless passage of current, existing without effort, without intention, without need. The stars are still there, but they're different now. They're not outside you anymore. They're not separate points of light hanging in an external darkness. They're inside you, or you're inside them. The distinction has ceased to matter. Each star is a warmth in your chest, a pulse in your blood, a quiet hum in your bones. You are the cosmos, and the cosmos is you. And the boundary between the two has dissolved so completely that you can't remember there ever being a boundary at all. The music continues, but it's changed too. It's no longer something you hear. It's something you are. The deep bass tones are your heartbeat, slow and steady and patient. The middle harmonies are your breath, flowing in and out in long, gentle waves. And the high crystalline notes are your thoughts, or what's left of them, tiny sparks of awareness that flicker and fade like distant signals from ships passing in the night. You drift. The darkness here is not empty. It's full, rich, taut, textured like velvet, like the softest fabric ever woven, and it wraps around you with a tenderness that brings tears to eyes you're not sure you still have. This darkness is kind. It's the darkness of the womb, of deep caves where ancient waters flow, of the space between stars where new worlds are being born in silence. You're floating through this darkness, though floating isn't quite the right word. Moving perhaps, but without effort. Being carried. The current that holds you is not water or air or any substance you can name. It's something else. The flow of time itself, maybe, or the gentle drift of entropy. The universe's slow, patient return to equilibrium. But even that's not quite right. Because here, in this place, there is no time. Or rather, all time exists at once, folded into itself like layers of silk, and you're drifting through all of it simultaneously. You can feel the weight of eons pressing gently against you from all sides, not crushing but supporting, like the way water supports a swimmer, like the way air supports a bird in flight. Somewhere far above, or below, or beside, the directions have all blurred together. You can still feel Atlas standing. His presence is a pillar of stability in the infinite drift, a fixed point that everything else moves around. He's not moving. He's never moving. But you are. Carried by currents, he creates simply by being what he is, the axis around which the heavens turn. You drift past him, or through him, or around him. It doesn't matter. His strength is not diminished by your passage. If anything, it's amplified. You can feel the weight he carries spreading out across the cosmos, distributed so evenly, so perfectly, that no single point bears more than its share. The sky rests on his shoulders, yes, but in a way, the sky also rests on everything, on every atom of space, on every mote of dust, on you. You are helping to hold up the heavens. You've always been helping. You just didn't know it before. The revelation doesn't come as a shock or a sudden insight. It seeps into you slowly, like water into sand, until it's simply there, a truth as fundamental and undeniable as your own existence. Everything is connected. Every star, every planet, every scattered atom of hydrogen drifting through the void, every dragon sleeping in every garden, every golden apple hanging from every branch, every footstep on every path, all of it is woven together in a tapestry so vast and complex and beautiful that seeing even a single thread of it is enough to make you weep. And you are part of that tapestry, not a decoration or an afterthought, but an essential thread, woven in with all the others, your color and texture contributing to the whole in ways you can't fully comprehend, but can feel deep in the marrow of your bones. The weight of this knowledge should be overwhelming. It should crush you with its immensity, but it doesn't, because you're not carrying it alone. Atlas is carrying it. The stars are carrying it. The darkness itself is carrying it. And all of them together are carrying you. You let yourself relax into this truth, and as you do, you sink deeper. The deeper you go, the quieter it becomes. The music is still there, but it's so slow now, so drawn out, that each note lasts for what feels like hours. The low tones rumble through the darkness like distant thunder that never quite arrives, just keeps approaching, keeps building. A perpetual promise of release that doesn't need to be fulfilled because the anticipation itself is enough. The darkness is thickening around you, growing denser, more substantial. It's not frightening. It's comforting, like being wrapped in layers of the heaviest, softest blankets, like being held in arms strong enough to carry any burden, patient enough to hold you for as long as you need to be held. Your body, and you're less and less sure you have a body anymore, but some sense of physical form persists, has become impossibly heavy. Every cell, every atom is weighted with the deep magnetic pull of rest. You couldn't move if you wanted to. You don't want to. Moving would require intention, and intention requires a self that remains separate from the world, and that separation is dissolving, has already dissolved, is dissolving eternally in this timeless space. You're aware of your breathing, though you're not sure if you're actually breathing, or if you're simply remembering what breathing felt like, an echo of a function that your body might still be performing somewhere far away. In that other world, where bodies exist and lungs expand and contract, and life continues in its necessary, mechanical way. Each breath, real or remembered, comes slower than the last. And such a long pause, long enough to forget you were breathing at all. Out, pint, and an even longer pause. Endless, infinite, a gap in time where nothing happens and everything happens simultaneously, where you could live an entire life or blink out of existence entirely, and it would make no difference, because here, in the pause between breaths, both life and death are the same thing, just different names for the same vast, patient process. Images begin to surface in the darkness. Not dreams exactly, more like memories that don't belong to you, or perhaps memories that belong to everyone, to the universe itself. You see the garden again, but from above this time, from a height so great that the golden trees look like flecks of mica scattered across dark stone. You can see the whole of it, the perfect circle it makes, the way the light radiates out from the center where Ladon sleeps, pulsing gently like a heartbeat, visible from space. The vision shifts. You see Atlas, but not as you saw him before. You see him from the side, from an angle that shouldn't be possible, and you realize there are others. Other pillars, other titans standing at the edges of the world, each one holding their own portion of the sky, each one patient and eternal and beautiful in their ancient strength. They're spaced evenly around the rim of everything, like candles around a vast circular table, and together they create a perfect balance, a symmetry so precise that the heavens can turn without wobbling, without faltering, forever and ever and ever. The vision shifts again. You see stars being born, vast clouds of gas and dust collapsing under their own gravity, spinning faster and faster until something in their cores ignites and they begin to burn. The light spreads outward, pushing back the darkness, and planets condense from the leftover material, rocky worlds and gas giants, and ice balls spinning in the new star's warmth. And you see stars dying, red giants swelling until they consume their own planets, then shedding their outer layers in beautiful glowing shells. Massive stars collapsing inward and exploding outward simultaneously, scattering their guts across light years of space, seeding the cosmos with heavy elements that will one day become new worlds, new life, new dreamers floating in the darkness, wondering where they came from. You see galaxies colliding in slow motion, their spiral arms intertwining like dancers, like lovers, like fighters locked in an embrace that will last 1 billion years. Stars are flung from their orbits, black holes merge and send ripples through the fabric of space itself. And from the chaos, something new emerges, always something new. The visions fade, or perhaps you fade, sinking deeper still into the warm darkness. There's a quality to this depth that's different from anything that came before. It's primordial, ancient, beyond ancient. This is the darkness that existed before the first star lit the void, the silence that preceded the music of the spheres, the stillness from which all motion emerged and to which all motion will eventually return. You've reached the bottom of the universe, or the top, or the center. The words don't work anymore. There is no bottom or top or center. There's only this, the infinite, eternal now, stretched out in all directions, containing everything and nothing, all possibilities and no possibilities, the question and the answer and the space between them. And in this place, you encounter something unexpected, a presence. It's not a being, not a god or a spirit or any kind of entity with will or thought or intention. It's more fundamental than that. It's the presence of presence itself, the isness of everything that is. The great silent affirmation at the heart of existence that says, simply and without elaboration, yes. Yes, the stars burn. Yes, Atlas stands. Yes, the garden grows. Yes, you exist. Yes, you are tired. Yes, you may rest. Yes, the word, though it's not really a word, more like a feeling, a vibration, a truth that doesn't need language, resonates through you, and something that's been clenched tight inside your chest for longer than you can remember finally releases. You don't have to hold on anymore. You don't have to stay awake. Stay alert. Stay in control. You don't have to keep watch over your own existence, making sure you're still here, still real, still you. All of that can be set down. All of that can rest. Because the universe will keep existing whether you're paying attention or not. The stars will keep burning. Atlas will keep standing. The music will keep playing. And when you wake, if you wake, and you will, eventually, in the gentle fullness of time, it will all still be here, patient and eternal, and exactly as it should be. The relief is so profound it feels physical, like a weight lifting off your entire body, like shackles you didn't know you were wearing suddenly falling away. You are lighter than air, lighter than thought, lighter than the space between atoms. And in that lightness, you begin to dissolve, not dying, not ending, just dispersing, spreading out, becoming less concentrated. The boundaries that define you as a separate self, a distinct entity, begin to blur and soften and fade, and the you that you've always been begins to mix with everything else, like a drop of ink in an infinite ocean. Part of you becomes starlight, photons streaming through the void at impossible speed, carrying warmth and information to distant shores. Part of you becomes silence, the gaps between sounds, the pauses where music rests and gathers itself for the next note. Part of you becomes stone, patient and enduring, content to exist for eons without change, without complaint, without desire. Part of you becomes breath, flowing in and out of lungs you no longer have, sustaining life you no longer remember being separate from. And part of you, the deepest part, the truest part, becomes nothing at all. Pure potential, the unmanifest, the field from which all things arise and to which all things return. The darkness that is not the absence of light, but the presence of every possible light waiting to be born. You rest there in the nothing for a time that has no measure. It might be seconds, it might be centuries, it might be the entire lifespan of the universe, from beginning to end, witnessed from a perspective so vast that 13 billion years is just a single breath, a momentary pause in something even larger. And in that rest, you are replenished. The weariness that brought you here, the accumulated exhaustion of living, of being conscious, of carrying the weight of selfhood through a world that demands so much from every moment, all of that drains away into the infinite, absorbed and trained to you as something else. Not energy exactly, something quieter than energy. Call it peace, call it acceptance, call it the deep, bone-level knowing that everything is exactly as it needs to be, and you are exactly where you need to be, and there is nowhere else to go and nothing else to do except be here in this moment, in this eternal now. The nothing begins to shift around you, or perhaps you begin to shift within the nothing. The distinction, as always, doesn't matter, but there's a sense of movement, of stirring, like the first faint currents that appear in still water just before something breaks the surface. Something is calling you back, not urgently, not demandingly, just a gentle invitation, a quiet suggestion that the journey might not be quite over, that there might be one more thing to see, one more truth to receive before you're released into the final, deepest sleep. You don't resist. You couldn't resist, even if you wanted to. You've surrendered so completely that resistance isn't even a concept anymore. You simply allow yourself to be drawn, to be carried, to be lifted gently back towards something that resembles form, that resembles awareness, that resembles you. The darkness lightens, just slightly, from pure black to the deepest, darkest blue, the color of the sky at midnight, when the moon has not yet risen and the stars are just beginning to appear. And in that blue, you see something, a light, small at first, distant, just a single point of brightness in the infinite expanse. But as you drift toward it, or as it drifts toward you, it grows larger, brighter, until you can see that it's not a star. It's something else, something familiar. It's the golden glow of the garden. You're returning, not to wakefulness, not yet, but to the beginning of the journey, the place where this all started. The path is circular, you realize. It was always circular. You walked from the garden to Atlas, to the stars, to the void. And now, the void is returning you to the garden, completing the cycle, the eternal round of rest and renewal. The light grows warmer, more golden, and the blue darkness around you fades, replaced by the soft amber glow you remember. You can smell the honeyed air again, feel the gentle warmth on your skin, hear the faint rustle of golden leaves in a breeze that barely exists. You're descending now, or ascending. The direction is ambiguous, but you're moving back toward form, back toward solidity, back toward the sense of being a distinct self in a distinct place. It's not unwelcome. It's gentle, gradual, like waking up in the morning when you slept so deeply that you forgot you'd been asleep. And the return to consciousness is soft and slow and full of quiet contentment. The garden takes shape around you. The trees, the golden apples, the soft moss beneath your feet. And there, at the center of it all, coiled around the great tree beside the still pool, is Ladon. He hasn't moved. Of course he hasn't moved. He's been here the entire time, sleeping his eternal sleep, breathing his slow, patient breaths, guarding the apples that never fall and never spoil. But as you approach, and you're aware of walking again, of having feet and legs and a body, though it all feels distant and dreamlike, the dragon's eyes open, slowly, so slowly, the heavy lids lifting to reveal eyes that are not fierce or frightening, but gentle, ancient. They're the color of amber with flecks of gold, and they hold within them the wisdom of countless ages, the memory of everything that has ever happened in this garden. Every visitor who has ever walked its paths, every star that has ever crossed the sky above. Ladon looks at you, and in that gaze you feel recognized, seen, not judged or measured, but simply acknowledged. You came, you walked the path, you stood before Atlas, you drifted through the stars and dissolved into the void, and now you have returned. The dragon's mouth opens slightly, and from deep within his chest comes a sound, not a roar or a growl, a hum, low and resonant, the same frequency as the music of the spheres, the same tone as Atlas's heartbeat. It vibrates through the ground, through the air, through your body, and as it does, you feel something settle into place. You are blessed, not in any formal or religious sense, just acknowledged, accepted, welcomed into the eternal cycle of this place, this garden at the edge of the world, where time moves differently and rest is not an escape from life, but a return to its deepest source. Ladon's eyes close again, slowly, peacefully, and his breathing returns to the deep, steady rhythm you first heard when you entered the garden. He has given you his blessing, and now he returns to his eternal vigil, patient and unchanging as the stars themselves. You stand there for a long moment, feeling the weight and lightness of it all, the impossible contradiction of being so small and so vast simultaneously, so temporary and so eternal. And then, gently, you lower yourself to the ground beside the pool. The moss is soft beneath you, softer than any bed you've ever known. It shapes itself to your body, supporting you perfectly, and as you lie back, gazing up through the golden leaves at the sky beyond, you feel the last threads of tension leave your muscles, your bones, your very cells. The sky above is the same as it was when you arrived. The endless golden twilight, the soft clouds, the first faint stars beginning to emerge. And somewhere beyond it all, invisible but present, is Atlas, still standing, still holding, still keeping everything in its proper place. You close your eyes. The music of the spheres plays on, a lullaby written at the beginning of time, and the garden holds you in its gentle warmth, and Ladon breathes his slow breaths beside you. And somewhere, in the infinite distance, stars are being born, and stars are dying, and galaxies are turning in their ancient dance. And you, here now, in this eternal moment, finally let go completely. Your breathing slows until it's almost imperceptible. Your thoughts scatter like leaves on a wind you cannot feel. Your sense of self, that constant, vigilant awareness of being you, distinct and separate from everything else, fades like morning mist in the rising sun. What remains is not nothing. It's everything. You are the garden and the dragon and the golden apples. You are the path and the plateau and the pillar holding up the sky. You are the stars and the music and the darkness between them. You are the eternal yes at the heart of all existence. The affirmation that says this moment, every moment, is exactly as it should be. And in that vast, peaceful knowing, you finally, truly, completely sleep. Not the light sleep of naps or the fitful sleep of anxious nights. This is the sleep of the earth itself, deep and dreamless and restorative beyond measure. This is the sleep that heals, that renews, that allows every cell in your body to remember its purpose and return to its proper function. This is the sleep you were made for, and it holds you, gently and completely, for as long as you need. The garden will be here when you wake. If you wake. And if you don't, if you choose to sleep here forever in the eternal twilight, that would be okay too. Because this place, this garden at the edge of Atlas's world, exists outside of obligation and schedule and the demands of waking life. Here, you are free. Free to rest. Free to let go. Free to simply be, without effort or intention or goal. The golden leaves shimmer above you, casting dancing patterns of light and shadow across your closed eyelids. Ladon's breathing becomes your breathing. Slow and deep and eternal. The weight of the sky rests on Atlas's shoulders, and because he holds it, you don't have to. Everything is taken care of. Everything is as it should be. Everything will continue, with or without your vigilance, because the universe is old and patient, and it knows what it's doing. You can rest now. You can sleep. You can drift in the warm, golden darkness for as long as you need, knowing that when you return, and you will return, eventually, in the fullness of time, the world will still be here, waiting for you with patient kindness. But that's a concern for later, for some other moment, for some other version of you who will wake refreshed and renewed and ready to step back into the dance of life. Right now, there is only this: the soft moss beneath you, the golden light above you, the dragon's breath beside you, and the infinite, gentle darkness of sleep enfolding you in its ancient arms. Rest now, weary traveler. You've earned it. You've walked the paths, stood before the pillar, touched the stars, and dissolved into the void. You've completed the journey. You've received the blessing. Now sleep, deep and dreamless and perfect. Sleep. You have walked the ancient paths, explored the sacred chambers, and touched the stillness at the heart of the temple. Now, if you wish, you may journey even deeper, beyond words, beyond story, into pure meditation. For the next hour, I invite you to rest in complete silence, held by the cosmos, surrounded by the infinite peace of the stars. Let the visual guide you into the void, where all seeking ends and only being remains. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, nothing to become. Simply rest in the eternal now as awareness itself. Let go and gently dissolve into the silence.